gonna say? I can't believe what you're alluding to, Max. Let it out. Let it out. What are you trying to say?
He is going. This is my hot take. You just calm down. He is a great, great fighter. A good big man doesn't beat a great little man. It takes something more than a good big man to do that, and Lopez is more than just good.
Punches are not made, they are born. And this guy, Lopez, was born to punch. And he's got one other thing going for him, Steven and Max. He reminds me of Pacquiao, Lopez, in a way, not just with power in either hand, but his closing step, his ability to explode. You know, kind of like an athlete in football, basketball, any of those sports where it's not about running a 40. It's about the quickness. It's about the closing step, the burst. He's got that burst. Not everybody's got that.
Stephen A. Smith and Max Kellerman clash over Shakur Stevenson versus Teofimo Lopez, debating skill, power, and resume.
January 31st, Shakur Stevenson, Teofimo Lopez. I always say it, when boxing gets it right, no other sport comes close. And this is boxing getting it right. The best fighting the best. Both fighters believe that this matchup settles the argument about who leads the new era. So what do we think of the Styles matchup, guys? This is a high-speed chess match a la Sugar Ray Leonard or Pernell Whitaker, Leonard and Benitez, or Pernell Whitaker, Buddy McGirt, or is it a Jerry versus...
Stephen A. Smith praised Teofimo Lopez's quick defense, highlighting his fast reflexes and ability to slip punches in tight exchanges.
Sure, to show the world that at 23 years of age, I'm a champion, and you're going to have to come take this from me. I'm not giving you a damn thing. I loved his quickness. We know about Lopez's power, but I'm talking about his quickness defensively. But I saw Lopez being elusive, and I love that because it's one thing for you to have the power and the quickness to go along with the power offensively. A lot of guys can look good until they get hit. There were times where he got hit, and there were other times.
He consistently points to Teofimo Lopez's history of rising to the occasion on the biggest stages. Smith emphasizes that Lopez is not intimidated by elite competition, citing his dominant win over Vasily Lomachenko.
Lomachenko's footwork is exceptional. It's practically unrivaled. So you could see what he's done to numerous fighters, which contributed to them quitting, like Nicholas Walters and others. He tried that with Lopez. It didn't work. Lopez's footwork worked. His speed was there. Some power, obviously. But his elusivity is what impressed me most. The fact that he was able to slip a number, not all, but a number of those pitches.
He wouldn't let Lomachenko establish his outside foot.
And I loved it.
Yeah, for me, coming into this fight, obviously I always talk to Max about fighting. I love it. I was thinking, and Lopez mentioned it pre-fight, everybody thought it was going to be very Mayweather-Canelo when they fought, and that he would be outclassed. If you look at the first 6 rounds, it was about patience. He was patient. He didn't rush himself. He used his jab, which is something that we aren't used to.
Eddie Atlas joined Stephen A. Smith and Max Kellerman, arguing that Teofimo Lopez's biggest challenge is facing the best pound-for-pound fighter. Atlas stressed Shakur Stevenson's elite fundamentals, saying Teofimo's athleticism alone won't be enough against a technician of that level.
The challenge of fighting, for me, my estimation, the pound-for-pound best fighter in the world. Either him or Crawford. You choose it, it doesn't matter. You can flip-flop either one of them. They're the 2 top guys. The challenge is to get his bomb to the target. Yeah, like Customano, my mentor, used to say, Teddy, having power is great. But if you don't have a means to get it to the target, it has no value. It's like a military weapon, he used to say. If you don't have a missile, it just blows up and makes a big hole in the ground. So that's the challenge. Get it to the target. Get it to the chin or the body. It might be a good idea with a guy who moves his head so much, but get it to the target with Lomachenko. So keep yourself together mentally with all that going on, with all the chaos stuff coming at you, and don't get discouraged. Don't get frustrated if he's...
Kellerman repeatedly emphasizes that Stevenson doesn't just win fights. He neutralizes opponents. His footwork, distance control, and anticipation allow him to dictate the pace of every bout.
Or is one of those guys and who comes along, and I think this is really the question about him. I said he is one of those guys. Is he one of those guys? Like Pernell, like Roy, like Floyd, their defenses were so good and they boxed in a way where they weren't going to take unnecessary risks. They weren't running and holding. I had a problem with the second half of the Haney-Norman fight because I felt like they continue to box. Pernell did, Roy did, and Shakur does now, right? But when a guy has those advantages in boxing skill and speed, and they don't take risks, they are almost impossible to beat. So no matter who Pernell was fighting, no matter who Roy was fighting, if someone would have asked me who they're going to be, they're fighting Godzilla, Pernell. They're fighting Roy. Shakur has that look to me.
He acknowledged that both fighters are highly skilled, but emphasized that Shakur Stevenson is not a puncher. He argued that Shakur wins through precision, defense, and control rather than knockout power.
Here is that they're both twitchy, they're both fast, they're both excellent boxers. Teo's a puncher. I know it hasn't shown up in recent fights, but we have watched both of their careers. Shakur is not a puncher.
No.
Teo is.
Teo it can be an explosive, I hit you with a shot
And
you
you're
don't
out
see,
cold type,
and you are out cold type puncher.
And talking about power, strength too. I think Teo's going to be the much stronger guy in there. Shakur Stevenson's not a strong guy.
I think he's getting stronger.
Me too. I was about to say.
Definitely
But
stronger.
this is his first fight at 140 though. That's what I'm
Yeah.
saying. I'm not disrespecting
I
his
feel
strength.
like, but I also feel like that Shakur might surprise you, Mike, with his physical strength. Physical strength, as we all know, doesn't always translate to punching power.
Sure, of course not.
But when he was a younger fighter, he looked like he could be moved around by his
don't look
opponent.
like that.
It doesn't look like that anymore.
No, he's definitely matured in his body. But first fight at 140, Teo's what? I think this is maybe his fifth fight at 140?
Yeah.
Something like that?
That's true, but Shakur has a frame where he can put on 140 very
Max Kellerman points out that Shakur enters the fight with more to lose because of his technical reputation and undefeated image. Teofimo, on the other hand, has more to gain as the underdog, where the pressure is lower and the opportunity is higher, making the fight dangerous and unpredictable.
An advantage there where Shakur is fighting to protect that perfect record, to protect that kind of sense that he's the next guy. On the other hand, Teo is like he can fight with more abandon against Shakur because there's so much for him to gain. And if he loses, he's lost before.
Stevenson has openly discussed how significant this contest is to him, framing it as a chance to prove he's among the very best pound-for-pound fighters in the sport.
I think the fight with Teo is either going to be you delivering a masterclass
or a knockout by Teo.
Yeah, or you getting into some type of brawl with Teo and end up getting knocked out, right? What are fans getting wrong about the matchup?
I think the fans is getting wrong about the matchup is where I'm not sleeping on that I know about Teo. Teo's a good boxer.
Mm-hmm.
He's boxer first. So we could say, oh, he's just going to knock you out. Or he's just going to... That's not him. He's boxing first. He's going to want to establish distance and range on the outside and try to beat me up on the outside. So I think that's the main thing. And also the biggest thing that everybody don't realize with me, I can punch. Mm-hmm. Everybody say, oh, he can't punch, and then boom, crack somebody, and then they laying down, or something may happen to where they hurt or something like that. So I think
many experts see Shakur Stevenson versus Teofimo Lopez as a fascinating tactical puzzle where strategy, energy, and timing could decide the outcome.
I don't think that Shakur is going to come out and try to fight or take the fight to Teo in the first 6 rounds at all. So if he's fighting off the back foot, if Teo can make it so that he's convincingly, or he's convinced at least Shakur that he may have won 4 of the first 6 rounds, if it's 4-2 in Shakur's mind going into the second half of the fight, or if I'm looking at him stealing those first 6 rounds, then it's an interesting fight going into the tail end, because Teo, to me, is a front runner, right? I want to see if he can carry his energy and his explosiveness late in the fight and not wear down. And then when Shakur starts to open up, can you steal some of those championship rounds from him and make it like a close fight? I think if Teo comes out and does what he usually does, which is try to swarm Shakur early and keep Shakur on the defensive early, then he can try to steal a lot of those early rounds.
Lopez is often described as a fighter who starts fast and relies on mid-range explosiveness, sharp counters, and early bursts of pressure. If he can't sustain that intensity for all 12 rounds, some analysts wonder whether his output might taper in the later championship rounds, opening the door for Stevenson to turn the tide.
If I'm looking at the first 3 rounds, first 4 rounds, and Teo looks like he's losing those rounds convincingly, then it's an easy night for Shakur, unanimous decision in my opinion. You know what I mean? Because I don't think Teo is going to bring anything late in the game, to this fight. I think he's if he is who he's always been. You know, he's going to get gassed after like the 7th round and then take some rounds off. And when he does that, Shakur will open up and start to try to pick him apart, pot shot him, and do things like that. But this is the perfect fight, narrative-wise, for Shakur, because I've been waiting for Shakur to get into that fight where, you know, he doesn't have the fight where he doesn't have his Diego Corrales fight. You know what I mean? Where you think he's actually in danger. Shakur has been he's been outclassing everybody he's in the ring with. You know what I mean? Then the guys that you think could give him some work, like De Los Santos, I know people hate when I bring that fight up, but I want to see him actually in danger.
Insiders believe fights like Shakur Stevenson versus Teofimo Lopez are exactly what boxing needs right now. Legendary former champion Roy Jones Jr. described the potential matchup as a true skill-for-skill battle, comparing it to elite-level showdowns such as Canelo Alvarez versus Terence Crawford. According to Jones, bouts of this caliber restore credibility to the sport by putting the best fighters against one another in their prime.
Pierre, Shakur and Teofimo Lopez, Shakur Stevenson getting it on in about 3.5 weeks or something like that. Also on the undercard is Keyshawn Davis, but the main event. Let's jump into the main. Tell me what you're thinking.
You got an ultimate skill fighter versus a boxer who's twitchy, and twitchy sometimes beats out skills. Sometimes that's the side that can really beat a straight up boxer to me. Somebody who's twitchy. Because they don't fight, as normally as most boxers fight. They give angles, body movements, bouncing around like a Lomachenko would done, even a Crawford does, moves different angles and so forth. That's why they can beat.
Analysts agree, noting that both Stevenson and Lopez bring championship experience, star power, and something to prove. Their contrasting styles, Stevenson's elite technical precision, defense, and ring intelligence against Lopez's explosive power, speed, and aggression, create a high-stakes, must-see clash. This type of matchup naturally fuels debate, builds anticipation, and captures casual and hardcore fans alike when prime fighters take real risks against elite opposition. Boxing thrives by delivering the competitive drama and memorable moments that reignite fan passion.
Who's going to show up what day? What's Shakur showing up? Or what Tio's going to show up? You get what I'm saying?
Nah, Shakur's going to always be Shakur. The offense that we saw from him in his last fight was just, he knew what he had in front of him, and eventually he knew that he was going to be in a position where he could have his way with the kid who was in the ring. I'm losing his name off the top of my head.
Right, I know you're talking about. But I believe he fought that way because he started hearing all the call of him running. He started saying, you know what? Let me stay in the pocket, because he stood in the pocket a lot more than he normally stood in the pocket with that fight. You know what I'm saying?
It took some unnecessary shots.
Huh?
It took unnecessary shots.
Well, okay, right. Mm-hmm. But you see what kind of fan base he got after that too. The doubters started saying, you know what? I'm gonna roll with him more, because we were getting tired of him running and skillfully beating people. That gets boring. Like Mayweather did his last.
Stevenson's boxing style often draws criticism for being boring, but that label misunderstands the craft behind his approach. He relies on elite footwork, precise counters, and defensive mastery rather than wild aggression or constant exchanges. Many fans and casual viewers crave dramatic knockouts and relentless pressure, which Stevenson rarely prioritizes. His fights can appear methodical or slow, emphasizing strategy over spectacle. Yet, this cautious, cerebral style has made him exceptionally hard to hit and highly effective against top-tier opponents. While not flashy, Stevenson's technique exemplifies modern boxing intelligence, proving that control and timing can be just as thrilling as knockout power.
Shakur.
Nobody's scared of Shakur, bro.
I think y'all be ducking
Shakur's scared of his shadow, bro. Relax,
I think y'all
bro.
be ducking Shakur.
Shakur, you see his last fight?
One the fans want to see, though.
No, they don't.
Yeah,
Stop hyping up Shakur.
I want to see Ryan and Shakur.
I've
Devin
not
and
heard
Shakur.
that at all.
Yeah.
I've never
You
heard
wouldn't want to see that?
I never heard.
Absolutely.
Hey, nobody on the street has ever been like, yo, Shakur, you would be crazy.
Shakur Stevenson fight next.
I don't think he should fight at all ever again, because he just puts the fans to sleep and he's not doing anything entertaining for the damn sport. Honestly, just kick him out of boxing, bro. He's horrible.
God damn.
I'm asking you this. You think Dana would put up with Shakur? He'd be the first one to get kicked out of the UFC, right or wrong?
I will say this. You're right. Dana definitely wants, because it's a promotion, it's an entertainment company.
Okay, boxing's an entertainment company too. He ain't doing the sport a favor, so kick him out.
How would that fight between him and David Haney go?
Honestly, man, if you want to get off to that, man, you're better off watching like Gabe.
However, Amir Khan has acknowledged Shakur Stevenson as a highly skilled, technically gifted fighter who brings something important to the sport. Even if his style isn't always exciting for casual fans, Stevenson's precision, defense, and ring IQ make him exceptionally difficult to hit and beat, which is the essence of boxing. While Khan has praised other fighters like Teofimo Lopez for their aggression and power, he also respects Stevenson's elite abilities. He understands that fans often misinterpret tactical, defensive excellence as boring. At the highest levels, slipping punches, controlling range, and outthinking an opponent are marks of true mastery. Stevenson's technique and success against top competition show that there's beauty in skill, not just knockouts.
Criticism that Shakur gets, like people say that he's boring and all that.
Yeah.
He's not entertaining.
I mean, look, he's like an Andre Ward style. Andre Ward wasn't really that entertaining, but got the win. I mean, that's what boxing is all about. So I used to love watching Andre Ward fight because it was so punch perfect. I watched his footwork, how he moved to the right, to the left, and I trained with him as well, with Virgil. And I used to watch how he trained and how he fought, and I thought how he puts his hands there and uses it as a defense, and then pulls your hands down and catches you over the top, and them little things. So this is a fight that people get, because you got two different styles. You got an offensive, defensive in Lopez, and you've got a defensive.
Stevenson has been outspoken and confident about both his preparation and mindset heading into a potential fight with Teofimo Lopez. Throughout training camp, Stevenson has emphasized how sharp, disciplined, and locked in he feels, suggesting this is the best version of himself fans have seen. He has repeatedly stated that his focus is on execution rather than hype, believing his skill set will separate him on fight night. While Stevenson has shown respect for Lopez's talent, athleticism, and power, he has made it clear that mistakes will not go unpunished. Stevenson believes Lopez's aggressive style can create openings, and he plans to exploit those moments with precision and timing. Confident in his game plan, Stevenson says he intends to impose his own pace and strategy, controlling the fight from start to finish and shocking the world with a performance that leaves no doubt about his elite status.
Time and then the one above you, but it's in a message to the fans. But I think it also did something for you to prove to yourself that, man, listen, that wasn't like my best performance, but I showed you I can get it out the mud. What did that performance kind of do for you now that you look back at it?
Honestly, I think like styles-wise, I think that Zepeda's style is the style that's supposed to give me the most trouble. Like guys that box and give me time to think is the guys that's gonna have a fit with me all night. But the guys who press me and put me against the ropes and throw a million punches, that's the style that's supposed to give me trouble. So I went out there and I prevailed against that style, and now I'm fighting against a boxer, which for me, it just makes it more fun. I don't have to deal with a guy trying to like wear me down.
Meanwhile, Teofimo Lopez is approaching this fight with renewed confidence and a heightened sense of purpose, viewing it as a defining moment in his career. He has made it clear that he feels mentally sharp, physically powerful, and fully aligned with his training and preparation. Rather than being weighed down by expectations, Lopez is embracing the spotlight, believing this is exactly the kind of stage he was built for. His mindset reflects maturity and hunger driven by past experiences that have strengthened his resolve. Lopez sees this bout not as pressure, but as an opportunity to showcase his full arsenal: speed, strength, ring IQ, and competitive fire, while reminding everyone why he remains one of boxing's most dangerous and gifted fighters.
So then again, it's like I could always succeed to another level with it, and exceed to it. So it's really just trying to just keep it going, keep moving forward throughout the whole time and throughout the whole process, and mainly just have fun with it. You gotta have fun with what you do. I love this. I haven't stopped doing what I've done because of the fact that I enjoy what I do. This has been 20 years in the making. 20 years in this, and I have so much to do and so much to prove within myself. So mentally, I'm prepared. Physically, I'm more than ready, and emotionally, I'm on fire, I'm on fire with it, because all I ever did was try to be great, and it's no longer trying. I am great. And it's all about just continuing and holding that. So it's all about just staying humble throughout the process, keeping myself level-headed, and really just enjoying each day that we get, because tomorrow's never.
Ultimately, a victory over Teofimo Lopez would be a defining moment in Shakur Stevenson's career. Beyond adding another world title to his resume, it would elevate his credibility and strengthen his leverage in negotiations for a long-awaited showdown with Gervonta Tank Davis. Many fans and insiders believe that defeating a proven star like Lopez is the final statement Stevenson needs to firmly establish himself as the division's top contender, making a clash with Davis not just desirable, but unavoidable.
Man, what do you say to that, bro? Like, you hear him, bro? I just can't wait to beat him and shut him up, bro. T.O. not on this level. T.O. is a high-level fighter, but he's not on my level. I'm an elite level fighter, and come January 31st, I'm going to show it.
You've shown respect to him for his performances in the past, what he's done. He's fought guys like Lomachenko and Taylor. You say that he's not on your level. Why do you think you're on just a different level than him?
Because I seen him at his best. Against Taylor, against Lomachenko, he was at his very best. That was the best he can do. I don't think he can do nothing better than that. So
self-projection.
What I seen from that fight, I feel like I'm way better than them guys. With Lomachenko, like I said, he didn't throw punches for 6
Objection.
rounds. For 6 rounds. So if you ain't throw punches for 6 rounds and you get in front of me,
and you was
I
a
just
fan,
don't know. I would have beat Lomachenko that night.